So today we'll be talking about cutting the clutter and how we can implement some of these rules into our writing and presentations overall to come across as more professional, I guess. But my English teacher a few years ago had taught me that you basically verbal vomit onto the paper at first, just to get all of your ideas out there onto the paper and into the world. And then once you have that verbal vomit, then you will essentially go back through and cut out the clutter to make your work more readable and engaging for the end reader so that it's not just your ideas. Now those ideas flow into one another. And yeah, so the cutting the clutter rules I would like to focus on are rules number 1 and 2. And if I do need more, I'll add more. But rule number 1 is don't draw excessive attention to the writer. Using phrases like I saw a bluebird flying in the sky. Right, that draws attention away from the most important part of that sentence, which is there's a bluebird flying in the sky, right? And because I use even those, I saw, I sort of trap myself into explaining the sentence in that one way. I saw a bluebird flying in the sky. If I was to be more descriptive, then it would make it even more wordy. So if I really wanted to put a sentence like that and obey rule 1, I could say a beautiful or just a regular a bluebird flew through the sky. It conveys more confidence as well saying it like that because the I saw it is it detracts from your message in a way, in my eyes. And so I think it's important that you make those statements in your writing stay as statements and not necessarily opinions. If you stated that statement, then the reader can ascertain that it is your opinion. And then rule number 2 is that we should not be using helping verbs if a simpler form will do. And I think a lot of the time, students, I myself do stuff like this. We are trying to probably meet a word limit, or it may just be an innocent mistake. So the typical violation of this rule is something like, and I'm using the example straight from the rules here, but Jose was slaughtering the dragon versus Jose slaughtered the dragon. I mean, it's just a one word difference, but the confidence it conveys by removing the Jose was slaughtering the dragon, Jose slaughtered the dragon. It now tells you that it doesn't leave it up as a question and it completes the statement, right? And that's rule number 2. Now, I do actually end up needing more rules, so I am looking through. So this one, number 10, is also another one that I think students are the biggest offenders of. And I will say that this is mainly just to meet word count limits, at least for me. But yeah, don't use phrases that add words but not meaning. So something like due to the fact in the event that, right, the possible with the possible exception of, basically longer ways to get to the same destination. And I think the essence of what that rule is trying to say is that you should use the shortest route you can to get to the destination that still delivers the same meaning. And yeah, those are pretty much the rules that I'll be going through today. Rules 1, 2, and 10. Rule number 1 is slipped me. Rule number 1, don't draw excessive attention to the reader. Rule number 2, don't use verbs that require helping verbs if a simpler form will do. And rule number 3, don't use words that add words but no meaning. So we want to make the best use of our word selection so that we can convey our message clearly and concisely to the reader.